Hello and welcome back, or welcome. I am Book Lover Lorna, and can you believe it? We're in a new year. It's now 2022 and it's a fresh start for reading. I'm kind of excited, kind of daunted at the same time. Daunted? It's not haunted. Is daunted a word? It's daunting. I don't know if daunted is a word. I feel like it should be if daunting. This is a good way to start 2022. We're already questioning whether words exist. So, you know, my videos are off to a strong start this year, and my speech, because I don't know how to say videos. Now, today we are going to talk about my 2022 goals for reading and kind of a loose TBR. Now, I've been quite reserved in the books that I've picked up because I don't want to kind of, I don't know, narrow myself too much, if that makes sense. There's plenty of other books that I do plan to read, but I just don't know, like, specifically, to say, for example, an author, I'll be like, yeah, I'll definitely read a couple of that author, but I haven't picked specifically which ones. And I don't see myself being able to read every author's books throughout this year, because I'm going to read less this year. Shock horror, I know, it's such a bad bookworm. So in 2021, my goal was 100 books over the year, which I did achieve, and it was stressful. It wasn't as enjoyable because I was always trying to kind of like catch up with myself, make sure that I was a little bit ahead when I had some extra time, and it felt like I was kind of forcing myself to read at times when I didn't really want to read. So, and also my life is busier now, like I've got a boyfriend and stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, he takes up time, so it's time draining being in a relationship. So I need to cut down from that 100. I did love reading 100, and I'm sure there's probably 100 books on my shelves that I've not read and I could very easily read next year, but just not with the time that I have available. So I have cut down my goal for the year. For 2022, my plan, and it doesn't matter if I go above this, as long as I hit it, is to read 50 books. It's a nice round number. I don't like doing numbers in the middle of, you know, in the middle of nowhere. So 50 books is the goal. I might, you know, have a really good year and fall back into kind of the swing of it because I'm not putting so much pressure on myself. And I might read more. If I do, fabulous. But my minimum for this year will be 50 books. So that does kind of mean that when I'm planning my TBR, that those 50 are gonna kind of disappear quite quickly in terms of like what books I want to read. So my plan kind of is 50 books is about 4 to 5 books per month, so about one a week really, which sounds a lot more achievable. Each month I do want to read one book that is either, and this is quite a broad spectrum, we've got a list here, I've got it written down. One, either classic book, so like I've got all my Wordsworth editions, I've got my Puffin Bloom collection, my Puffin Clothbound collection, either a classic like that or Jane Austen, I've got those, I haven't read those yet either, or an Agatha Christie book, because I've got I'm missing one from the collection now, so I want to kind of read those. So either a classic, an Agatha Christie book, or a 500 plus page book. So a book that is 500 pages or more. So basically like one kind of, not challenging book, but one book per month that kind of requires more of my attention, because those books are going to require more attention. A 500 plus page book is going to require a lot of time. A classic book requires a lot of my attention to focus because I'm not very good at focusing and following what's going on. And an Agatha Christie, again, because it's a little bit older style. The writing isn't too much though. A little bit older style. I do pay a little bit more attention because I also miss things quite easily. So every month there'll be one of those. So if it's a 500 plus page book, it might end up being like a romance or something. If I don't think actually I probably have got romances that are over 500 plus pages. But yeah, that's kind of the realm of one of those books per month. Now I would kind of like to read a NetGalley book each month, but I'm not going to be too tight on that because again I'll do like NetGalley November, so I just need to not request NetGalley books for a while unless I really love the author, because there's enough on there for me to be reading. There's enough. I am considering buying a Kindle with some money that I got for Christmas on my birthday, because I seem to be reading quite a lot on my iPad recently, and it's so bulky and heavy and it hurts my eyes, and I'm just thinking that potentially it might be time to get back on the Kindle game. But I probably read like 1 to 2 books a month. I have been reading 1 to 2 books a month on kind of Kindles. I don't know if it's worth it, but I've got lots of physical books to read, and if I buy a Kindle, is it going to make me, you know, only want to read Kindle books for a little bit? But I've got quite a lot of books on there that I haven't read yet. Is that just as important as my physical TBR? I don't know. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about that and do some research, because I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure what to do. Okay, so like I said, I've got my little piece of paper here. That's why I'm what I'm looking at. So we've got one classic / Agatha Christie / 500+ page book per month. Now, over the year, I am still doing my Jodie Peacock rereads. I haven't done any in December because that's Christmas book month, so obviously not going to do any then. So my videos, the vlogs, are for 3 books. So I'm kind of thinking about how often I want those to come out. Realistically, I'd love them to come out every month, but they're not going to. So I guess the next best thing is like every 2 months. So that would mean that I'd need to rereading over, so 6 times 3, 18 books over the year. I just don't think that I could say, you know, I'd love to reread 18 Jodie Peacock books over the year. But realistically, if I'm only going to read, I say only, that's still really good, but it just feels low compared to my 100. If I'm going to be rereading 18 Jodie Peacock books over the year, that's a big chunk of that 50. So realistically, I'm going to say that between about 10 to 15 Jodie Peacock books over the year would be amazing. That would be like ideal. The videos would come out a little bit slower, but that's fine. You know, they'll get to you eventually. I can only read so much. I'm only one human. So yeah, 10 to 15 Jodie Peacock rereads over the course of the year. And now I've got some series that I want to read. One series that I do want to finish is the Cara Hunter series. I've only got 2 books left. I've got All the Rage and then The Whole Truth. I have read The Whole Truth before, but I will be rereading it just to kind of tie it off. Yeah, tie it off, is that the right word? And finish that. So there's those 2 there. Yeah, so I've got some series and stuff that I want to read. I want to finish that Cara Hunter, D.I. Adam Fawley series. The lighting is all going on. We're in December while I'm filming this, and it's just light issues. So I do have some books down here that I want to read next year. Like I say, I haven't picked up too many. I don't really want to narrow myself too much, but these are ones that I definitely think I'm going to pick these up next year. So first one is Wool by Hugh Howey. I really want to read this, and I've said before for my 2021 books that I think the reason I didn't pick this up is because it was just too big. And when you're trying to read 100 books, you don't have time for big books. That's why this year I'm saying, right, 50, and, you know, some months I'm going to be reading 500+ page books. So this could count as that, actually, because this is like 500 and epilogue 540 pages. So I'm definitely want to read this one next year. One that I haven't actually got here is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I started that last year. I went to like page 100, or not even 100 actually, it might have been like 70, and I didn't finish it. So now that I'm reading less, that, you know, 1 month can be a 500+ page book. I will definitely kind of make some more progress on that, and that just has to be read. I have a whole year. Like, surely I can read a 700-page book in a year. Like, I just got to do it. You just got to pick it up. Just gotta pick it up and do it. You never know, really. If I get into Wool, I might end up reading the series because I think it's a 3-part series. So that could be another series this year. I don't know, maybe. A series I want to reread this year. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of rereading this year, even though I've got loads of unread books on my shelves, but though no, I'll pick them up when I fancy the mood. I want to reread the Divergent series. Now, 4 is one that I got for Christmas, so that wasn't previously on there. on my shelves. I have read it, but on Kindle. I just fancy a reread of these and a rewatch of the films. I wanted to reread these last year, but I just never got to them. So this will be... dropping them. This will be... slippery buggers, aren't they? This will be the year... Line up. Thank you. This will be the year that I'm going to reread these. I don't know how long these are going to take me, really. Like, I feel like they're so slippery. I feel like I could maybe fly through them, but they're quite chunky books. I mean, Allegiant feels like the biggest. Well, not being funny, but this is a 500 plus page book, so I'm just checking that there's no like extra pages from the next book yet. This is over 500 pages. So, I mean, this is getting easy for my 500 plus page books, isn't it? And the second one is. So, I mean, maybe those months I'll have to read a classic as well, because these are rereads. So I don't know if rereading a 500 plus page book counts, does it? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm going to reread those this year. And then another reread, which I love to do. I didn't do last year. Let me just grab them and I'll tell you all about it. Right, got them on my lap. A set that I didn't reread this year, but I do love to reread. Oh, this book is a bit dirty. Oh, that's sad. Ready? Are you ready? This is heavy because there's a hardback in there. The Twilight series. I love this. It is what I think really what got me like proper into reading. I used to read when I was a teenager. I read quite a lot of like Jodie Peacock books as a kid, but I was kind of like into reading, but I was like, you know, not hooked as such. And then when I started reading these, I think that was the point where I was like, yes. Like I sat even and read Breaking Dawn when that came out. As soon as I got home from school, I was up to my bedroom and sat reading it until my mum would call me for dinner. So it took me like 2 weeks, which for me at the time was like amazing quick. 2 weeks was like the quickest I'd ever read a book. Because obviously, you know, I had school and, you know, other responsibilities like being a teenager. So I just love this series, and I love to reread them every so often and rewatch the films because I still really enjoy them. I mean, New Moon is probably like my least favourite, but I still reread it because it's part of the thing, the series. And then for Christmas I got The Short Second Life of Brie Tanner, which I did have before. I had it in hardback. I had it at the same time that it came out, but I lost it and I've never been able to find it again. I don't know if I lent it to someone, whether it's in my mum's loft. She's looked, we can't find it. So I asked for it for Christmas so that I can read that as part of the series as well. So that'll be 5 books. I don't think, actually this is looking, do you know what? When I said that I was going to read over a 500 plus page book, I think I should have said 600 because lots of these are over 500. Is that one over 500? No, that New Moon is 497. Saved. Eclipse is over 500 pages. Like I said, I'm going to have to just kind of, some months I'm going to read more, like 2 500 page books. If that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. It's 560 pages. Breaking Dawn. We know Breaking Dawn is a big bad boy. Let's have a look. I mean, what is going on with the sunshine? No, thank you. 700 pages. So that one definitely will fit the 500 plus one. Ones that are maybe just 500, maybe I'll read like classics that month as well. I don't know, but I'm going to reread these and I'm going to have my boyfriend watch the films with me because he said the other day, did he say that he'd seen them or he hadn't? I think he said that he hadn't seen them. He's probably like watched like the first one or something, but I don't think he's seen them, so I'm going to introduce him to the world of Twilight as well. I need like a yearly reread of these. I just love them. I just love them. They remind me of being a teenager. Right, let's go through some others. So I've got 4 books here that I planned to read last year. I predicted I was going to give them 5 stars in a video and I have not yet read them. So got to read those next year. Those are Fairy Tale Beginnings by Holly Martin. Obviously I'm going to be reading quite a few Holly Martin books next year. I'm not don't know which ones. I don't know exactly which ones. There'll be new ones coming out. I'm sure I'll read those. So I haven't set like a specific list of Holly Martin books I'm going to read. I've got two. One being this one because I predicted I was going to give it 5 stars. I want to read Alice Oseman books this year. One that I predicted I was going to give 5 stars is Solitaire. Still haven't read it yet. So we're definitely going to read that one. I would love to read some other books from her this year as well. Again, I haven't picked specific ones because I don't want to narrow myself down. On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Now, this one, again, predicted it 5 stars. I plan to reread. Why do I keep saying that? I've been saying reread so much, that's why. Plan to read this year. And listen to it on audiobook. I've got the audiobook. I'm ready to go. I just need to pick it up. How many pages is this one? 430. So we're going to read some big books this year. I think I'm going to probably be reading chunkier books than I read last year, just because I'm not going to be kind of rushing to get another book checked off my list. And another that I predicted I was going to give 5 stars to and haven't read yet is Frankie Stein by Jeanette Winterson. I've been excited to read this and then not picked it up. So again, I'm probably going to try and get that one in November, October. But do I leave it that long? Because if I leave it that long, again, it might not happen. So I'm going to start knocking books on the floor in a minute. Okay, I've got my last pile of books, but it's a big one. So, in 2022, I really want to read Three Sisters. This is one, actually quite a few of these are, no, actually not very many of these ones I got for Christmas. But this one here was one I got for Christmas. It is a signed edition, I think. It is. I didn't even realise that. I did not even realise that. Heather, it says, with a heart. I'll be reading this one. I actually want to read this one pretty soon. How many pages is this? I'm like so interested to see how many pages all these. Oh, this is only like a 400 pager. It feels chunky. Must have thick pages. Three Sisters. It's part of. I don't think it's part of the Tattoo series. It's like a side step from it. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to read that one. I got a bit sidetracked then, didn't I? I was like in a daze. Another Holly Martin book I want to read in 2022 that I definitely want to read rather than the others I'll pick up whichever ones I fancy is the Complete Happiness series. This is actually 2 books, but it's just been sat on my shelf for so long because it was so big I didn't want to pick it up. But it is 2 books, so I could very easily kind of conquer these both. So the books are The Little Village of Happiness and The Gift of Happiness. So overall it's very chunky. Almost 600 pages. But I'll read this as if it's 2 separate books and like stop in the middle. So yeah, I'll probably count that as 2 rather than 1 because it's not. It's just that this edition is got the 2 books printed as 1. But I will read them as 2. I have been really excited to read the Peter Pan retelling books, and there's one I haven't got which I will be buying when I do like a little book haul. We'll have a little book haul video soon, I think. Like not book haul, book shopping, online book shopping, because there's some that I would really like to get and I've got some vouchers and stuff, so we'll do that soon. I have got Wendy Darling by A.C. Wise. I just really want to read the Peter Pan retelling books this year. So I've picked this one up for that very reason. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I just want to read it. Sophie Cousins, Just Haven't Met You Yet. I read this time next year, January 2021. What am I doing here? January 2021, and I really loved it. This came out November, I think. I pre-ordered it and I just haven't read it yet. So I'm definitely going to get on this one soon. Potentially like a January, February read. I feel like beginning of the year is going to be like good for this one. And we have Holly Bourne, Pretending. This is going to be my one for Holly Bourne that's like make or break, basically, because I'm still not sure about her books. I keep reading them and I keep buying them, but I'm not sure of what I feel about them. So I feel like this is going to be a make or break situation, and we'll decide whether I'm going to buy any more Holly Bourne books, or whether I stop and, you know, get rid of some of the collection that I've got, because if I'm not enjoying them, why have I got them? There's no need, really, is there? One book that I bought myself last year and I want to read in 2022 is The Castaways by Lucy Clark. I don't know why, it just looks really captivating, and I kind of like the idea of being on a on a kind of, is it a desert island? Yeah, a remote island. You wake up on a beautiful remote island. There is no ordinary escape. I feel like this is just going to be really good. So I'm definitely wanting to pick that one up. And then the last one, obviously, there are lots of other books that I kind of thinking, oh, I might read that next year. But I haven't put them in this list because I'm not dead sure yet. But the last one that I definitely want to read next year is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the sequel to the Inheritance games. And I just think it's going to be really good. I really enjoyed the first one. I've just been really excited for this to come out. So I'm not going to reread the first one because I can't be rereading everything this year, else I'll never get any new books read. I'm just going to go into this one probably in the first half of the year, I'm thinking. I'd love to read it soon, but there's just so many books that I want to read. So it's probably going to get pushed back a few months, but I will read it and I'm very excited for it. So yeah, those are kind of my plans, my reading plans, a little rough TBR for 2022. I'm hopeful that we're going to have some big books and some good books this year. I've got lots of like easy read ones as well that have been on my shelves for ages, which I'm not really fascinated by, but I'll probably use those for like beach reads and stuff. I don't know which ones I'll pick yet, but I'm probably going to make a pile of like books that I want to read, but I don't want to keep on my shelves necessarily, like ones that have been kind of given to me after someone else has read them, and those I'll just maybe slowly work my way through. They'll probably be like just chick lit reads, so probably work my way through those over the year as well. But we'll see how much reading I get done and how quickly I reach my 50. It might take me all year to reach my 50, it might not. I have no prediction of how this year is going to go, but we shall soon see. So do let me know in the comments if you plan to read any of these books this year. There will obviously be a couple of new releases that I will be reading as well. But yeah, this is kind of my thought process at the moment. Thank you very much for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!